Chosen one, listen closely. This message isn't for the crowd. It's not for those who fit in, who follow the rules of this world and feel at home in it. This is for you, the one who always felt like a stranger, even in familiar places. The one who questions why things never quite worked out the way they were supposed to. You've been talking too much lately, telling people your dreams, sharing your struggles with the wrong ears, defending yourself to those who were never meant to understand your purpose. But God is saying, keep your mouth shut, not out of fear, not out of shame, but because what He's doing in your life is too holy to be spoken about casually, too sacred to be thrown before those who only come to mock, question, or delay what's already in motion. There are people watching you, not to support you, but to see if you'll fail. And every word you speak is being twisted, used, and weaponized against you. God's final warning is this: silence is your protection. In this season, your power will come from what you don't say. Your strength will be proven by your stillness. Because while you're quiet, He is loud. Loud in how He defends you. Loud in how He moves things behind closed doors. Loud in how He shuts mouths that rose against you without you lifting a finger. This is not the time to explain yourself. This is not the time to announce your next step. This is the time to move in silence and let God thunder in the background. So next time they ask, "Why are you so quiet lately?" smile, because the storm you've been in is now under God's command. Keep your mouth shut and watch Him speak. Subscribe to Chosen Core if your silence is not weakness, but divine strategy. God is about to speak through your stillness. They underestimated you because you stopped talking. They assumed silence meant surrender. But silence, real silence, is often the final move before God acts. Do you remember how Jesus stood silent before His accusers? He didn't argue, He didn't justify. He knew who He was, and that truth needed no defense. You are in the same position now. God is taking you through a divine silence, not to hide you, but to prepare the world for the sound of His move in your life. People around you can't understand your silence because they were never meant to hear what God whispered to you. Your dreams, your calling, your anointing, it wasn't a group message. It was personal, it was sacred. And right now, the enemy is desperate for information. He wants to know what you're building. He wants to know who you're trusting. He wants to know when you're going to rise. But if you keep your mouth shut, he stays blind. Because the devil can't stop what he can't predict. And he can't predict what you keep hidden in obedience. Every time you resist the urge to explain, to argue, to prove, you're saying to God, I trust you more than I trust being understood. This silence is not punishment. It's positioning. You're not being ignored. You're being shielded. Not everyone who asks deserves an answer. Not everyone who listens has clean hands. Some only ask so they can delay you. Some only listen so they can destroy what's pure. That's why God is urging you. Zip your lips, guard your oil, protect your fire. Because what's coming next is too holy to be spoken before it's time. You feel it, don't you? That pressure building inside you. The urge to finally tell them who you really are. To show them what you carry. To let the world finally see what's been forming in silence. But hear this. Premature exposure kills divine assignments. If a seed is dug up before its time, it dies. If a prophecy is shouted too early, it's attacked. God is not hiding you to punish you. He's hiding you to protect the promise. There are voices around you trying to pull information from you. They come with friendly smiles, light conversations, but there's poison behind their curiosity. They don't want to help you, they want to halt you. That's why God has put this weight in your spirit. Say nothing, keep walking, keep building, keep trusting. Even your own emotions may try to betray you. You'll want to vent. You'll want to cry out, "Why don't they understand me?" But this is your test. Will you trust God's silence more than man's validation? Because while they talk, God is writing your next chapter. While they speculate, God is setting up a scene that will silence every doubt without you saying a word. When God reveals it, there will be no debate, no explanation needed. Because what he's about to do will speak louder than your voice ever could. So every time you feel like spilling your plan, every time you're tempted to defend yourself, remind yourself of this. God doesn't need your words to make his move. He just needs your obedience. And right now, your obedience is to stay silent. You've been feeling overlooked. Like no one sees the weight you carry. Like your silence has made you invisible. But chosen one, listen carefully. God does his greatest work in hidden places. The womb is hidden. The cocoon is hidden. The tomb was hidden. But each one birthed something that changed the world. You are not being buried. You are being planted. And the difference between those two is what happens next. Burial ends things. Planting begins something. So don't let the silence fool you. This quiet season is not the end of your story. It's the dark room where God develops you, where he sharpens your vision, where he purifies your motives, where he tests your discipline. Because what's coming requires maturity. And maturity knows when to speak and when to stay silent. You see, not everyone deserves access to your blueprint. Even Joseph had a dream. But when he told it too soon, he was thrown in a pit by his own brothers. Some of the attacks you faced weren't because you were wrong. They happened because you spoke too early. So God is teaching you the wisdom of strategic silence. This is a divine operation. And divine operations don't need public commentary. They need surrender. They need trust. They need quiet obedience. Because soon, the same people who doubted you will be the ones who can't explain what just happened. And you won't need to say a word. There's a war going on, but not the kind you can see. It's not in your finances. It's not in your relationships. It's not even in your environment. It's in your mouth. The enemy isn't just after your voice. He's after your timing. Because if he can't stop what God is doing, he'll try to make you speak too soon and sabotage it yourself. This is why some doors haven't opened yet. Not because God forgot, but because he's protecting you from opening your mouth in a room you're not yet ready for. He's not just preparing the promise. He's preparing you. You're learning how to walk in power without performance, how to carry fire without needing applause, how to be full of divine truth. But wise enough to know not every truth needs to be spoken yet. Discipline in your speech is evidence of spiritual authority. The more power God gives you, the quieter you must become. Because when heaven begins to trust you, you become dangerous not for what you say, but for what you choose not to say. Let them wonder. Let them question. Let them doubt. You don't need to clear the air. God is the one who clears paths. Remember, a lion doesn't roar before it strikes. It moves silently. And when it moves, the earth shakes. Your silence is not weakness. It's the stillness before the shift, the quiet before the breakout, the calm before heaven releases what it's been building in you all along. Some of the greatest damage you ever took didn't come from what others did. It came from what you revealed too early. You trusted too fast. You shared too much. You open doors with your words that God never told you to open. And now He's retraining you, teaching you to guard the sacred. Because not every connection is covenant, and not every listener is loyal. This time God is saying, let me build it in the dark. When a foundation is poured, it's not glamorous. It's slow, it's messy, it's hidden. But it holds the weight of everything that comes after. That's what this silence is, foundation work. And the deeper the foundation, the higher the structure. So don't mistake the quiet for a delay. Don't assume the hidden place means He's forgotten you. No, God is building something so unshakable. It requires silence. It demands privacy. It calls for your full attention. You're not in hiding. You're in alignment. God is pulling you away from the noise. Not to isolate you, but to insulate you. He's silencing the outside, so you can finally hear Him clearly on the inside. Because when the time comes, you won't speak out of emotion. You'll speak with authority. And when you do, your words will no longer be explanations. They'll be commands. They'll be prophetic triggers. They'll carry the full weight of heaven behind them. But until then, stay quiet, chosen one. You may feel the tension right now. Like something is building inside your spirit. Like your destiny is pressing against the walls of silence. That's because it is. You're not waiting for a breakthrough. You are the breakthrough. But even breakthroughs have a process. Even miracles need divine timing. This silence you're walking in, it's not just a command, it's a shield. Every time you stay quiet, you confuse the enemy. You disrupt the assignment of those who were sent to spy, not support. You hold back information that would have given your opposition a map. And here's the secret God is teaching you. Sometimes the loudest move is made without a sound. Your discipline in silence is sending a message to heaven. You can trust me with the next level. I won't leak what you whispered in secret. I won't trade sacred revelation for temporary attention. Because let's be honest, it's easy to post. It's easy to vent. It's easy to go live and spill what God told you in the secret place. But chosen ones don't move like the rest. You don't need validation. You don't need applause. You don't need the crowd to cheer when God is already backing you. This is where God separates the loud from the called, the performers from the prophets, the noisy from the anointed. And you've been called, chosen, and hidden. Not because you're small, but because you're carrying something too big for the world to see before it's time. There's a reason the enemy has been attacking your patience. A reason why distractions have increased. A reason you felt pressure to just say something. Because he knows. The moment you speak out of timing, you step out of alignment. And the moment you break alignment, you slow down divine release. He wants you to get tired of waiting, to get frustrated in the silence, to feel like obedience isn't working. But chosen one, the silence is working. Every day you stay quiet. You're storing spiritual power. You're maturing in ways you don't even realize. You're proving to God that your mouth won't move faster than your spirit. And that makes you dangerous. Heaven can't trust everyone with revelation. Some people will hear one word from God and broadcast it like it's a brand. But you're learning how to protect what's sacred. You're learning how to sit with the weight of prophecy without using it for attention. You're being trained for impact. Because when God does release you, you won't be loud for the sake of noise. You'll speak with precision. Every word will be fire. Every sentence will break chains. Every declaration will shift rooms. But for now, God says, Don't talk, just listen, just move, just trust. Let them assume you have nothing to say. Let them think you've gone quiet because you've given up. That's the trap. They'll only realize the truth when they see the explosion of favor they never expected. And by then, it'll be too late to stop it. This is your stealth season. This is your silence warfare. This is your secret storm. And storms don't warn when they're about to break. They just arrive. You've been in a battle, but not with flesh and blood. This fight is spiritual. It's deep. It's ancient. And it's targeted. Because the enemy knows your voice is a weapon. Your words carry weight in the spirit. Your mouth was built for prophecy, for prayer, for calling down fire. So what does he do? He tries to get you to waste your words on people who aren't assigned to your destiny. He wants you to defend what needs no defense. He wants you to argue with voices that don't even matter. But not this time. This time you've matured. This time you're choosing strategy over noise. You've learned that silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. And wisdom keeps its mouth shut until it's time to strike. This season isn't about proving who you are. It's about becoming who God says you are. In the dark, in the hidden place, in the silence. That's why you've been feeling stretched. That's why the old ways of venting, explaining, and oversharing don't feel right anymore. Because God has placed a divine restraint on your tongue. He's saying, don't forfeit the crown because you couldn't hold your peace. Remember, even Jesus didn't answer every question. He didn't perform on demand. He stayed silent when it mattered most. Because he knew his silence would speak louder than anything his enemies could say. And you're walking in that same pattern. You're aligning with that same strength. You're becoming dangerous. Not because you shout, but because you've learned when not to. You're not being quiet because you're weak. You're quiet because you've finally stepped into authority. There's a shift happening in your spirit. The old you used to react, used to explain, used to defend every move just to keep peace with people who were never assigned to your future. But now, you're no longer trying to be understood. You're committed to being obedient. That's the difference between those who are anointed and those who are just loud. Because real power doesn't beg to be noticed. It doesn't chase attention. It doesn't shout just to fill silence. Real power walks into a room and changes the atmosphere without saying a word. And that's what God is forming in you right now. A silent authority, a holy confidence, a spiritual weight that makes demons tremble before you even speak. That's why you've been withdrawn lately. That's why conversations feel heavier. That's why you can't just chat the way you used to. It's not that you've changed randomly. It's that God is sanctifying your voice. He's separating your words from the noise of the world. Because when you speak again, it won't just be you talking. It'll be heaven speaking through you. So don't rush this quiet. Don't curse this stillness. Don't despise this hidden place. You're not being silenced. You're being refined. And every day you hold back from reacting. You're growing. You're rising. You're aligning with the voice of the one who speaks universes into existence and still chooses silence when it matters most. You're not who you used to be. And that's exactly why God has closed your mouth in this season. Because the old version of you would have reacted out of emotion, would have spoken just to be heard, would have tried to prove a point to people who were never meant to get it. But now you're dangerous. You've been through the fire. You've been humbled. You've been tested. And now you know the cost of speaking too soon. This silence isn't passive, it's prophetic. You're not ignoring people. You're obeying God. Because when you hold your tongue, you hold your position. And right now, your position is sacred. Your elevation is near. But elevation requires discipline. Discipline in how you move. Discipline in how you speak. Discipline in how you respond when you're misunderstood, overlooked, or even betrayed. Let them think you've disappeared. Let them assume you're done. Let them count you out. That's the beauty of being hidden by God. No one sees the preparation. They only see the unveiling. And when that unveiling comes, there will be no announcement, no explanation, just evidence. They won't remember what you said. They'll remember what God did, right in front of them, while you said nothing. That's the power of divine silence. It doesn't defend. It delivers. So now you stand at the edge, not of noise but of power, not of attention but of assignment. You've been hidden long enough. You've kept your mouth shut when everything in you wanted to speak. And heaven took note of it. God is about to honor your silence with a move so loud, the world won't know what hit them. Not because you shouted, but because you obeyed. So stay ready. Stay low. Stay quiet. Because when God says now, your silence will turn into thunder. If this word struck your spirit like lightning, don't just scroll. Don't just watch. Subscribe to Chosen Core right now. This is your training ground, your spiritual boot camp. You're called to rise in silence and strike when God says go. The world isn't ready for the sound you're about to make, but heaven is.